The best advice that I can give to parents is to really pursue making sure you understand how your child is wired to learn through either a psychoeducational evaluation or a neuropsychological evaluation. That is the starting point. Make sure that the psychologist really explains what their strengths and weaknesses are, and in terms that you can understand. You can also find an organization like ours that has a director who can sit down with you and help you to understand, what does this mean? What do these numbers mean in terms of how the child is wired to learn? One of the major things that I learned is that learning challenges, learning disabilities, learning disorders are potentially overcomable. One of the foremost researchers in dyslexia, for example, she's a professor at Harvard, wrote a book called Overcoming Dyslexia. So once a learning disability, always a learning disability, we now know that that isn't true, that it's definitely addressable. The other thing is that lots of people will tell you, oh, he'll catch up. No, don't believe it. That's one of the greatest myths that's out there. So you've got to be your child's advocate. There are lots of well-meaning people out there who are experts in their area, but they're not an expert in your child. And they may not be an expert in learning. They may be an expert in direct instruction, like a classroom teacher, but that doesn't mean that they understand what affects learning and why your child is struggling. So you need to ask lots of questions, and you need to be your child's biggest advocate. And one of the things that I always recommend is, don't alienate the people that you want to help your child, but you need to be very kind, persistent, thoughtful, sweet, squeaky wheel. So to make sure that you get what you need for your child. And investigate all areas. Investigate educational therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, nutrition. Look at all of the different pieces that can impact how a child is cognitively available for the learning experience. One of the things that people used to believe is that the brain was static, that it could not change. But since then, we have discovered through medical technology that the brain actually literally can change. It can change for the better, or it can change for the worse. So that's one of the reasons why we know that learning disabilities are overcomable.